You're listening to Zoom the TBT with Charge and Hayner.
Hey guys, it's Charge and represent Zoom the TBT, and we're doing a little bit of our bracket mix-up. We have the brackets got released today. Charge was a very exciting today, wasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. This has been building up for a while, ever since the bubble last year. Only had 24 teams. We got back to the full 64 in a month and a half of the application period. So to get out there and get the selection Monday under our belt, see what the matchups are, who's playing where, and what the tournament looks like, it's exciting. Can't wait.
And of course, we're going to start this one off with Illinois. And it's really interesting because this was early on a trailing indicator. A lot of teams were trying to go there because it seemed a little softer. And then what ends up happening is obviously these things have a way of correcting themselves. Markets function this way. And it went to basically an East Coast migration of a lot of really quality teams moving to the Midwest. Charge, what strikes you about this bracket?
Yeah, this one was pretty wild. This is probably the one we did the worst on. We only had 3 seeds pegged right on the nose. We had the region move out over to Columbus. We had Forces of Soul in Jackson, Tennessee, worked their way into the bracket. So, I was really surprised by both of those teams. We nailed 64 to 66 teams, and these were the 2 that we missed. So 20th and only, shockingly, out of the tournament, and Boo Williams, which I thought was a bubble team all along. So for me, not as impactful to the overall tournament, but what happened at the bottom of this was, pretty shocking. Jackson, Tennessee doesn't surprise me. They got in. They pretty much went to the bubble last year. Unfortunately, got COVID and didn't play. But they're pretty much owed, and they've earned that. Forces of Soul. I mentioned this a couple of bracketologies ago. But it's interesting to see we had the Jamaican team looking to get in. Forces of Soul, has a lot of that Korean flavor, and so this is, I think, TBT's chance to hit more of an international market. So that was the biggest surprise for me, is just what happened at the bottom. I think the top we were pretty much solid on with Golden Eagles, House of Pain, Bayheim's Army. You can switch those around; they're all 3 great teams. But I think the story today is kind of what shook out in the middle there, Hayner.
Okay, so we love TBT. They do a wonderful job. We're both fans and cover it. So we think the world of these guys. And they did, let's be clear, an extremely good job. I think they got most of the teams correctly. And they did a good job in seeding with a couple of extremely notable things I would disagree with. And they're both at the 8-9 line. In Columbus, I think the Men of Mackey Volunteers thing is a bit of just a bloodbath. But this one actually even makes me a little more upset because it's like watching your children fight. And also, I think one team's seeded a little fairly, but they got a bad matchup. And Brotherly Love is the most underseeded team in the field by a lot. They have lots of wins. This is 4 seed lines too low, and it gives them a really tough matchup with a very game Jimmy V team. So this is going to be a really tough game. So, Charge, who are our guests tonight?
Yeah, so coincidentally, we have Danny from Team Brotherly Love. How you doing, Danny?
I've meditated a lot today.
So take time to breathe, and of course,
time for mindfulness. I guess I'll get into more as you ask some questions, but I'll leave it at that for now.
Yeah, and our other team, friends of the podcast, both these guys been on a number of times. So Vinny and Alex from Jimmy V, how you guys doing tonight?
We're good. We're all right. Could be better, but we're all right.
Just happy to be here.
All right, we're going to start with you, Danny. So just what was your initial reaction? So I think everyone, who's close to the TBT had you guys a solid 4 all along. So we have Autism Army ahead of you. We've got the Murray team, who I think is a good team, ahead of you. We've got Bradley, who I don't believe is a great team, ahead of you. We've got and then Brotherly Love, obviously. So I mean, you got that kind of 5, 6, 7 where I would have had you sitting as a 4 above that Oregon team. So what was your initial reaction? I don't know if you got a heads up. I know sometimes people get a heads up where they're sitting, where they're going to fall, but obviously 8 is just insane.
Yeah, so we did get a heads up. I actually was not on my email for whatever reason at the time, and it was actually Vinny who, around 12:54, a couple minutes before the start of the show, texted me a picture of our matchup, and I'm like, I guess this kid got really good at Photoshop or something. Like, I'm literally like, I was expecting, and as Hayner always says, I bitch about seating, kind of just as our brand thing, but I was like, no way they actually gave us an 8. And this goes, I mean, obviously, as it was said, I have loved being a part of the TBT. I obviously worked for them a few years ago, respect everything they do, but no sane person can say that this seed makes any sense for us. We've been to the top 8 in the tournament the past 2 years. The year before that, playing under Talladega Nights, we were in the Sweet 16 after being a 15 seed, beating a 2 seed, then a 7 seed, and going down to the wire with Golden Eagles, and an 8 seed with Always a Brave has been there, hasn't done much, and then I believe that's 3 first-timers ahead of us. If we really want to get technical, we're 1-0 against Boeheim's Army in our history, but that's neither here nor there. I was never expecting to be in the top 3. And it also sucks because I like the Jimmy V guys a lot. I've become friends with Alex and Vinny, and it sucked what happened to them last year. And they were better than a 6 seed their first year, and obviously played an underseeded Brotherly Love team then and got beat. And now they have to be the first recipients of our revenge tour, which is I was looking forward, spending a couple days with them in Illinois as we would upset some teams together, and that looks like it will not be the case. So I think it sucks.
This is going to be the most genial shit talking ever, like friendly. This is actually what TBT, the community, is kind of about. So going to Vinny and Alex, we don't want to even take this. Like, unlike Brotherly Love, who we think just got egregiously poorly seeded, we think Jimmy V is actually kind of about where they belong from a seed table. We see this as a 7-10 team, honestly. But this is a bloodbath because you're one of the 7 and 10s that could make noise. And now this is like the poison chalice. Playing this game against the competitive and physical Brotherly Love team with also your team, which is competitive and physical. It's almost like, never mind who wins this game. How does the winner of this difficult game have anything left for the Eagles in round 2? And that silence speaks volumes. I mean,
Hey, wait. The crazy part about it is you play 7 o'clock on Sunday. Whoever wins the game, you play 3 o'clock the next day.
Oh God!
That's
I
all
didn't even
that.
look at the times
Yeah,
yet.
it's
You're
wild.
kidding me.
So, I mean, TBT seems to, I don't think they really care about either of us very much. But I care about them. So
My positive spin on it, because I'm not happy about it either. And like I
Yeah,
like
that's true.
Danny,
I heard this.
and I like Brotherly Love, and like I'm a Philly guy, so I like Brotherly Love is a team that I like. My only positive spin on it is we're still a team more than Brotherly Love. Like we're still trying to. We have no wins. We're still, like, last year we had that happen. So for us, it's a good opportunity because if we can win, like, all right, we beat Brotherly Love, we'd be like an established team. And then we play Golden Eagles, which that's a game that a lot of people will be watching. So it's a really good opportunity for us, but like, yeah, I'd like to play pretty much anybody else.
Yeah, you can see how TBT kind of themed this out. So you got the New Jersey, Pennsylvania battle there, 8-9, and then they went to teams with a cause, with autism, with sickle cell at the 5-12. It would have been really easy to flip Brotherly Love and autism, and I think both you guys have great teams in advance. But unfortunately, here we are looking at it. So Danny, I mean, from a brand of basketball, when you think about the Pennsylvania and the New Jersey teams going head to head, what's this game going to feel like?
It's going to be a battle, and it's going to be really well played basketball. But guys are going to get into each other. I was watching our hype video today that TBT sent out, and there was a play in our game against Jimmy V 2 years ago that I don't even remember this happening, but Sammy Givens damn near got tackled under the bucket, and it wasn't even a foul call, and he found a way to dish it out. And I know there were some plays on the other end where their guys got roughed up, and whoever wants it more is going to win. And I think that's something we have to stress to our guys. Like, I know how badly Jimmy V deserves a tournament win and is going to really come out for blood. And it's going to be hard to not look ahead to that Golden Eagles matchup. It'd be our 3rd time seeing them. They put us out last year. We want them very badly. And if we make even the slightest bit of mistake of overlooking them a lot, like, we will go home packing because Jimmy V has that talent. That being said, if we do what we need to do and come out like I expect us to come out, there's without being overly confident, our roster this year is far and away better than the two teams that have been to the quarterfinals. And like I said, it's unfortunate because I was excited to see what Jimmy V did this year. And if all goes to plan, we're not going to get that opportunity.
So talking about that real quick. So obviously this is going to be a tough game, but so Vinny and Alex, we were talking earlier when we had you on the show, and we both had you on the show, both groups of your teams on the show previously. We talked about the fact that when you guys were building your roster, you needed a little more wing help because you have a pretty elite backcourt. Have you been able to get the depth you need to fight a team as physical and brotherly love? And what are you guys going to have to do to pull off a slight upset, but still an upset?
Alex?
So yeah, I mean, we made pretty big additions since the last time we talked. I mean, the last time we talked, we literally had 0 wings on the roster. We added a kid, Jordan Barnado, who is just a stud. Had a great year this year. We actually played with Josh Perkins in Poland when Josh was there before he moved to his Euro Cup team. But he's a stud. We picked him up. Thank God we picked him up, especially now that we're playing brotherly love. Like, he's absolutely a guy we need. And then we picked up Dariante Jenkins, who played at VCU, 3-year starter at VCU. Just tough as hell. He's going to go out there and defend. He's young. He hasn't played a year of pro ball. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, those are two guys we badly needed, especially in this matchup. Like we know how physical brotherly love is from the last time we played him. Danny brought up that hype video. TBT sent us the hype video. There's a clip where we're losing by 20 to brotherly love. So we're not going to tweet that hype video out, but but yeah, no, we made 2 big additions that we badly needed.
Yeah. I guess until Danny mentioned it, I didn't realize you played Golden Eagles that many times. So it is an interesting matchup. It makes sense that TBT, has you on a crash course with those whoever comes out of this game. And the other side, you look at Boehm's and Illinois. So I think if I was going to pick a team I wanted to get on my side of the bracket, I'd prefer Golden Eagles before I play Boehm's and House of Pain. So Danny. Just from that aspect, is that how you see it as well, or would you prefer to be on the other side of the bracket and keeping Eagles a little further down?
Yeah, I mean, truth be told, looking at the bracket, it's hard to really assess until we see them. I think there's some sneaky teams. If I was purely picking things, I would probably pick both 11 and 10 to get through their first round matchups. I think there's some sneaky good teams on that side. I think SCO as a 12 seed is tough, but ultimately, in order to get through, you're gonna have to beat any of these teams. And I think being able to get through Golden Eagles would really prove to us too early on into the tournament that we have what it takes to win. And I think we've been, I guess we've only played them once under the Brotherly Love name, but we played them as Talladega Knights. And I do think in some sense, if the goal is strictly to get to Dayton, which it's not, this may be the easier side because you wouldn't have to go through both Boehm's and House of Pain in order to get there, which is what you would have to do on that other side if it goes chalk. But yeah, I mean, it's really hard to say. You don't know what teams look like. You don't know who Boehm's is going to pay to play for them before this thing actually gets started. You don't know who else Golden Eagles is going to add. It is what it is, and we're gonna have to beat who we play, and it starts with Jimmy V. So that's really where our focus is right now.
One positive that I saw about, a lot of times you see in tournaments in general, especially like I use Gonzaga as an example. Hate to do this to Josh, but you see them play in the conference that they play in all year, and then they have to play 6 high-level games in a row, and it's hard to do that. So if we do get past brotherly love, and even though the Golden Eagles have an easier game, we just played a war already. Like, we got one under our belt. So we're going to be going into that next game, whoever comes out of this game, already on go. And if they don't have that, I'm not saying Golden Eagles will come out like that, but coming off a championship, they're probably going to win the first game fairly easily. They're probably not too worried about whoever comes out of this game. And if you get past that game now, I mean, I think you're clear shot. But I mean, just in general of having to you know, whoever wins is gonna have to have it turned up from the minute that ball goes up. So
They're not gonna be able to sleep after that game. It's
sleep. I haven't slept already, and we're a month away.
it's like a
I'm
freaking
already
12-hour turnaround between games.
It's crazy.
Third scheduling.
Yeah,
No,
it is interesting too, because you mentioned that, like being ready to play, like there is the fatigue and the physical factor, but there also is actually the warm up, the having a tough fight, being punched in the face, which you both will happen. It'll happen to both your teams. So Eagles may, and we don't know a lot of B1 ballers, they're bye team. They could come credible, but let's assume they have an easier game. Being punched in the face to start a game can have an advantage. And besides, I hear Vinny has a plan if they win, actually, to get through, right? You're talking to me earlier today? Some law and order plan?
That's confidential.
Oh, that's confidential.
No,
Okay.
yeah, I did bring up, you know, we might have to plant some type of stuff around hotels of the Golden Eagles, and then call just to get them out of there.
Oh, that's awesome. Only you, Vinny.
Sir, that's not mine.
So we've obviously got the free agent market now that the selections are done. So Danny, you made a move today, is that correct?
Yeah, that was kind of a spite move in some sense. I mean, you know, we were looking at a big anyway, but that was like, you know what, like they gave us an 8 seed, let's make a move. So there were actually 3 bigs that we'd been, you know, eyeing. 2 of whom weren't on rosters already, so they were kind of harder to lock in. And once I saw the surprise that 20th and only didn't get in,
Shocking.
Crazy.
Yeah, very
That's
surprising.
crazy.
It was kind of our plan to look for a local big anyway. And I was, you know, looking at rosters and I saw Steve Zach. I'm like, oh, I saw he played at LaSalle. It's been doing good numbers. I saw he's from, you know, an hour away from Philly. I'm like, oh, he's been playing in the top division in Turkey. I know it's one of the best leagues in the world. I contacted Jarrell Wright, who's already on our roster, and I realized only then that they'd played all 4 years together at LaSalle. Jarrell's like, you know, Steve, easy guy to work in. He told me a skill set. I'm like, that's everything that we're looking for. And I sent Steve a DM, and a half hour later, he sends me his video confirming that he's playing. So, you know, I think as Vinny and Alex probably know, one of the keys you look for in a guy, aside from talent and fit, is just willingness and readiness to play. And this guy within a half hour was fully committed. He's like, what's the schedule? What's the flights? Who are we playing? I'm like, this is what we need. And aside from that, he's ultra talented. He maybe aside from France, he's the best resume on our roster. So that's it in terms of roster for us. We're locked at 10, but it's far and away the best I've ever felt about our roster, top to bottom, coming to TBT.
So we're pretty bummed and out about seeing you guys, because obviously you can't see all the people you care about. There's the weekend. We're going to be in a different region this weekend. Obviously, we're going to be in Columbus. But the key thing about this, which I find really interesting, is like Peoria is kind of a hole. I mean, not to be offensive, it's just kind of a nothing place. So Vinny and Alex, where are you guys going to get good Italian food out there? Like, I don't think there's any of that there, honestly.
I didn't even know Peoria existed, and then Vinny sent me like an edit to tweet out that we were announcing going to Peoria, and he sent me the picture, and I was like, there's no way that's what Peoria looks like. There's like this beautiful like skyline with this bridge, and I was like, that can't
really
be Peoria. That's gotta be something else.
Hopefully no, Vinny, go ahead.
No, yeah, I'm probably just gonna, in my carry-on luggage, it's probably just gonna be a couple Tupperwares for you know, then I get a fridge.
Alex and I are gonna find a place to get some good matzo ball soup out there.
Yeah, seriously.
All right. Well, on that note, let's go ahead and close it out. Like I said, we really can't wait to see this game. Respect both your guys' team. Like I said, as Hainer mentioned, some good-natured kind of trash talking. Obviously, both hungry to win, and I know you guys are all both going to leave it out there on the court. And after the game, you know, it's going to be all good again. So, best wishes to both of you. But this is how Illinois shakes out. It's loaded.
Good again. If I lose to them again, he's blocked on every account.
Like I say, maybe. Yeah, I can't imagine. I can't imagine you blocking him, but we'll see.
Losers covering the bar tab at the hotel that night. That's for sure.
Yeah. I'm sure there's going to be some good banter before and obviously after, and I'm sure you'll be supporting each other. Whoever wins up against Golden Eagles, but Illinois is going to be a great regional.
Yeah, no, this and I would say unbiasedly, this and the Volunteers Meredith Mackey is for sure the best 2 first round matchups in the tournament.
I'd agree. Gentlemen,
Yeah.
thanks for swinging by.
Pleasure.
guy.
Thanks, fellas.
Hope you enjoyed listening to Zoom the TBT with Charge and Hainer. Subscribe to YouTube, follow on Twitter, and give us your money.